So the network is maybe that term is slightly misleading, because the network is not ever owning the product. It's just facilitating the information. So the product is always owned either by farmers or the other regional food hubs. Does that answer your question?
Yes, it does. Yes, it does. And the other thing is, during the feasibility study, is there any what is the buy-in? I mean, what is the buy-in from the distribution center? Where's the buy-in from the packing house? And where's the buy-in from small truckers, things like that? Because I know that for so many boxes of farmers delivering their food to Brazil, to Los Angeles, or to whichever area, there's certain demands that the carrier needs to carry, so those sort of things. So I'm just wondering, during the whole feasibility study, is there any buy-in from distribution centers saying that, hey, you know what, maybe it's something that we can work at, and if so, I'm interested in hearing what you have.
So I mean, for example, even today we're hoping to get a lot of distributors here if possible. So we really want this to be something that we're getting input from all of the various parties as it's developing, so that we don't suddenly realize something from lacking that perspective from the beginning. I'm sorry, what was the second half of your question?
In terms of buy-in.
Oh, in terms of buy-in, yes. I mean, a feasibility study would definitely, I think a main focus of it would be looking into how this is actually going to work, and kind of hammering out the logistical details of logistics, and seeing, and also the various we would also want distributors to potentially have a membership role also, if they see it as a good business move too.
Right, and I think the whole thing of it, I think there's a buy-in from the small farmers, but I think without the distribution center playing that big role, and then I don't think we're going to have a whole complete regional hub. I mean, I support the vision, but that's, I'm also interested in seeing the buy-in stuff from the other logistics side, and the whole complete set.
So Penny and Dale, and then Karen.
Yeah, are you in your thinking including regional marketing groups? I'm thinking maybe placer grown, where there are a bunch of real small farms. Maybe they're not even in a position to go to major distributors, but they're looking to build their regional network better. Does that have a place in what you're thinking?
I would say definitely yes. I mean, especially if they're bringing product together and selling it under a label. Is that? Should I understand that correctly?
More regional marketing, where they keep their individual brands, but they're marketing the brand together as members of the association.
I think that's a primary target. Yeah.
Cool.
So I have currently there are distribution channels, of course, and what is the motivation for them to become involved?
I think that the primary motivation is because it's a source of this. This gets back to the marketing discussion again, but it's a source of this locally produced food that is now so popular in marketing. But it's also a completely undefined term. So you see many markets selling local food without saying what it is. So this is really an opportunity to have something that's branded, that actually has a very meaningful label, I guess. So this wouldn't be instead of any other label, but if something goes through the Regional Food Hub network, there would be a value associated with that. And I think that distributors might be interested in that, because it's having access to that particular product.
So once you get into that, you open up another definition that is difficult. I mean, all the definitions that we seek to define are fraught with lots of interpretations. But to try to then what you would accredit that it's local, or it would be like a certifying agency somehow confirming that it's local, and then local is 150 miles from this distributor, or it's if you move it up to the regional, up in Sacramento, if you're taking it from Los Angeles, and is it still local? Are they still?
Well, this is why for the recommendation for local, we're actually suggesting that the network not put a mileage definition or a day's drive or something like that on it, but just saying that if you get a product from the network, you can look at it, maybe you can scan it in with your iPhone or something, or not, but you can actually look at it and see exactly where it's grown, and not just where it's grown, but where it's been since then. So you could do potentially, you know, this is really in the vision stages, but have like a food miles calculation on it. So then the consumer can actually, what's that?
You're talking about small growers, primarily small and mid-sized growers. You're talking about a traceability system that costs anywhere from $3,000 to $4,000 for that depth of thing. Now, if you're going to say that the network is going to put that together, you're going to have a network that has a couple of full-time staff people, and then therefore you now have a high membership fee for participating. I would like to me, you talked about things being complicated, that this is complicated. It seems to me that it's somewhat overthought, that the network can really be an association of those people who already have what they consider a aggregation hub or a center for that support small and mid-sized family farmers. And if they feel that the association can be a benefit, they join the association for what an association does, which is promotes and helps and does all the things. But to try to overthink where you put it and how you put it and all of the technology that you want to bring to these hubs, it's going to be a fairly in-depth, complicated situation that is trying to solve a problem that is really to some degree not really existing. There are lots of operations. We have people sitting right behind me who deal with local farm distribution. We have distributors here who aggregate product and have a business that sells product. They don't call themselves aggregation hubs. They don't call themselves anything more than produce distributors. You mentioned Fresh Point in Southern California. They have put together they have 38 small local farmers that they are promoting now. In the last 2 years, they've done a bigger and better job. Would they become a member of this regional hub? And if they do you see them transferring product to other hubs to where they could be in competition with themselves?
There's a lot of ideas here. So to go back to one of your first points on the technology, I think that's a very correct assessment, that this would be very complicated and it would be expensive. That would also fall into the category of a pilot or an innovation. It would not be something that was probably supported directly by membership fees, and the idea is that there would be several full-time staff that are able to pursue funding and additional funding to pursue something like that. So if it's through other research, it's determined that there actually is a real need for something like that. The idea is that there is a staff capacity that's beyond what especially smaller hubs might have, so that there's actually staff that can go and pursue those things and then implement them throughout the network. I missed some of the things in the middle, I just forget all of them.
Who has membership? Who have access to membership?
Right. Oh, so and then also, and that's also coming back. The access to membership is also coming back again to the definitions and defining membership. Who is a regional food hub? Is there a limit on farm size, sustainability, fair labor practices? What is it that what are the limits on those types of things? I would also say that Fresh Point is not a regional food hub because it is a distributor, and so it could be I think